Am I really going to make this video? You should cut off your family members. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Michaela, and today I wanted to talk to you about something that is very important if you are on the journey of leveling yourself up. I know that self-improvement and all of that has been self-help, self-care, all of that. It is such a widespread topic on the internet, and I feel like at times it can come across as cringy, and I understand that. And there's also a lot of people out there giving stupid advice and saying stupid things that are simply not true. They're just regurgitated versions of something they heard from an actual expert on the subject of improving yourself, a real life coach, if you will. Now, I don't claim to be an expert, but my entire channel, when I began this channel, the intention of it was to help people who perhaps did not grow up in privilege, and by that specifically I mean the privilege of having people looking out for them, guiding them, raising them up in the way that they should go. There are a lot of us out there who didn't have that. And I'm not just going to be regurgitating a bunch of, cliche lines. Will this be cringy? Maybe. It also may upset you, actually, because what I'm going to say is going to be very controversial, for sure. And I also don't mind that, because I would rather be honest and tell you the truth about what is going to actually help fix your life and set you up for success. And I'm not going to lie. A common phrase that we all hear when it comes to learning about how to fix your life and improve your life and become better, to really reach your potential. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time around. Great. So a lot of us know relationships, as in friendships or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, who drag you down. Okay, they're negative or they're lazy, unproductive. They're not people with huge ambitions or aspirations or really any at all. Maybe they suffer from a lot of depression and there's nothing that you can do no matter how much you help, right? Which we'll get into that in a second. We know that when we spend time around those people, it rubs off on you. But in this case, I'm actually going to be talking about family. Yes, family. This is something that I think that just because somebody loves you and they care about you, and in the context of family, that is, just because somebody loves you does not mean you need to accept their love. It doesn't mean that you need to embrace their love. It doesn't mean that you need to keep them in your life. The TLDR is you should cut off your family members, right? I know that sounds extreme, but let me explain. Not all of us were privileged enough to be born into a family who has our best interests in mind. The concept of having a toxic mother, father, or sibling, it's not a new concept. I think a lot of us have that, and a lot of us endure a lot. To people who have the privilege of saying family is the most important thing, it's everything. You're loyal to your family till you die. Many people find inspiration and excitement and something important through that statement that family is everything and be loyal to your family. But just like the book of Proverbs states, sometimes the family that you pick for yourself is closer than your blood. In some cases, and in more cases than I think people are willing to admit out loud, your family members abuse you more than anybody else. There's something about the betrayal of people who have been around you since the day that you were born, have seen all of the pain, the life, the trauma that you've lived through. I don't speak to 99.5% of my family. I don't interact with them. I don't even have Facebook. I have no reason to, because none of them care about me at all. But they are always ready for me to care about them. They're always available for that. Just so you know that I'm not an anti-family person. I am a traditional person in so many senses, but I'm also somebody who will call out nonsense no matter who it's from. I will call it out as I see it, and I don't care if it makes me unpopular. I am not a picture perfect person. I am not somebody who grew up in a shiny castle. But what you see now is somebody who I've developed myself to be, and I believe that you can do something like that for yourself. And that's why I have this channel. Style, looks, all of that stuff is just something I'm passionate about, but it's not the number one thing you have to fix. The number one thing you have to fix is your mindset and how you approach the rest of your life and the people in your life. It could be cousins, it could be an aunt and uncle, siblings too, right? They could use all of the pain that even perhaps you grew up and went through together, the trauma bonding that you all have together, use that as a tool to manipulate you as an adult to give them things, right? In a very one-sided transactional relationship where you are giving, whether it be your money, your time, your shoulder to cry on, your literal couch for them to sleep on, your emotional bandwidth, your physical health even. And something you'll notice is that either you never are inclined to ask them for something, for help, whatever category that may be, or maybe you do and they have nothing to give you, but they have no problem draining your resources, okay? Because you don't have unlimited resources. And I could title this video, How to Be Selfish, but it's just not that simple, okay? The reason I'm saying don't just be selfish is because if you live a life where you do not actually help anybody when you can, you're going to be like the Scrooge, okay? Mean, bitter, alone, haunted by his past, and just ugly on the outside because of their bitter, angry hearts that just close itself off and will not reach out a hand to somebody. But there is a time and place to help people. For instance, if you run a business, you cannot let the homeless people overtake your business, lounge around inside of there, get free things from you, and hang out there, because that destroys your business. Not only I'm talking losing money, but the other patrons in there are going to feel uncomfortable because they're there abiding by general civilization rules, and these other people are not, and they are getting benefits for it. So that's going to turn a lot of normal people off, okay? So planning when you help people, sometimes there will be a spur of the moment thing. I'm not saying ignore somebody in need in a spur of the moment situation, but it is important to give back. Philanthropy, charity, there's a lot of terms for giving back, but it's important, and I feel like a lot of successful people do actually understand this. And so time and place, but you have to also recognize patterns, and the people in your life, your family, they often will neglect to care about how what they constantly need from you is affecting you. And if you tell them, they may use guilting tactics, such as saying, if you were in this position, I would be there for you, or I've always been there for you. But when you really stop and think for a second, you just let your mind ruminate on what they just said. No, you haven't been there for me. What are you talking about? It's very sad when your parents, who are supposed to love you, I'm not saying unconditionally, there is no such thing as unconditional love, but they're supposed to love you in a different way than you love them. They're supposed to love you as something that they created and want to grow like a beautiful plant. And though they may make mistakes, they may overwater, they may expose you to too much sunlight or shade, they are still supposed to try to get back on track. But there comes a point where somebody's intentionally poisoning the plants. You have to wonder, when is enough enough? Well, the truth is, only you can decide that for yourself. But if it's something you have been thinking about, if it's something that you feel weighed down by, all the responsibility of being the good one, no, you know what I mean, but being the reliable one, being the person that always has people's backs, you have to recognize patterns, and you have to also be strong and stand up for yourself. And if you have a conversation prior to an emergency, because these people are always in a state of emergency, it seems, reaching out to you with their open hands when they have been given the same exact opportunities in life as you, and you created what you've created for yourself, or at least you're trying, and they want to chip away at the small bit of life and success that you've begun to build for yourself, you have to ask yourself, am I going to continue to do this? Like I said, have this conversation prior to an emergency, because it's very difficult to say no in an emergency state. They're desperate for money. They're desperate for, I don't know, using you as a therapist and just draining you. And I'm a very empathetic person, so I get drained, and I try to tell people, hey, like I used to, like, hey, like I only want to continue to talk about your problems if when I give you like some advice or something, you may take it okay? Because I don't want to be, and I've had tons of friends like this, but I'm talking about family here. I don't want to be somebody who just bears this heavy weight of your pain constantly. Life is hard for everybody. Everyone goes through stuff. And I think we all have to build each other up to be strong. But if they are refusing to stand up straight when you are literally using your entire body weight to hold them up, you're going to be crushed flat. Your energy and resources are going to be crushed flat. So am I telling you to just text your mom, like, don't ever talk to me again? No. But I think there is a natural way to go about this. And some people, like, I've had to do it with people close to my life where I directly just said, I'm no longer available for you to use anymore. And I do like to give people some warnings, by the way. I do like to let them know, I feel used by you. I'm letting you know this. What are you going to do with this information? And I explain why. And the way they react tells everything. Usually it's an excuse. Oh, I didn't mean to. That's not it. But then, okay, let's see your actions. Your words can say whatever you want, but let's see your actions. It may get better for a short period. But then very soon again, I'm back in the position of the person that gives out those handouts to them. So you give them a warning. That's what I like to do. It makes it a little less painful if you have to cut them off, which sometimes you do. But I think also creating a distance is a nice natural way to go about this. They say, let's do this, let's meet up, or I need you to come to this. Just say, I can't. Just say you can't. You don't want to, you're not available, whatever it may be. You don't even have to give an excuse. I would not over-explain it. And then if they keep pestering you and say, why are you never showing up? It's like, oh, I told you. Yeah, I actually told you that I wasn't going to let you just use me anymore. I already told you that and you didn't listen. So now I'm keeping my distance. I will always love and care about you because a lot of times they will respond, but I love you. I care about you. Yeah, but your type of love is not something that I want anymore. I don't want your love. And if you're going to keep these people in your life, your resources, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially, all of the leads, it's going to be depleted. I'm sorry. So it's up to you. Don't take this advice lightly. Don't just tell people in your life that you're done with them, your family, that is. Think about it and pay attention. I want you to pay attention from this point on how these people treat you, because this is a very important step. First step, get rid of the bad friends. Easy. First step, get rid of the bad boyfriend or girlfriend. Easy. Oh, heartbreak. Yeah, I know. I've done it. Family, that is the next level. And hopefully most of you do not relate to this and you don't even have to think about it. But it is something that some of us do have to think about. Because I look back in my life and I do regret so many of the ways that I did not succeed because I let my family hold me down. That's another thing that a lot of these self-help people say. They say, I would never change anything about my life. If I could go back, I regret nothing because it made me who I am today. I mean, let's just be honest. You can't change it, so you accept it. You cannot change the past, so you are choosing to accept it. But let's not pretend that you don't regret anything. What in the earth are you talking about? Of course you regret things, and you should, especially if you did bad things. I totally regret the time that I've wasted, just wasting myself for people who would never, ever do the same for me unless I begged, pleaded, and they would give me 1% of the energy back that I have given them forever. So no, I do regret that. And if you are younger than myself, you know, I think this is something to consider, and just please, like I said, be careful. Don't just act. I want you to start really, really paying attention, and I want you to communicate. So some people do not deserve your communication. You know, if you have a super abusive parent who's so obviously abusive and everyone can see it, no, I don't feel pity. I'm sorry. Time can make you bitter and cold, but it also can make you wise, and that's the way I see it. So yeah, I told you it was going to be controversial. I told you. But hopefully this helped you in some kind of way. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.